Dun, dun, dun. Okay, you guys, the day has come. We are filming a car tour slash why I got my car, the whole car video that I have promised for so many months and you guys have been so patient with. If you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Kiara. I am a pediatric nurse and a YouTuber and a ski coach. I bought my dream car, which is actually what I said 4 years ago when I bought what I thought was my dream car. We're gonna chat about what happened, why I got a new car. I have some clips from the day I actually got the car last October, as well as today. I'm finally going to show you guys a tour of the car and why I love this car so much. If you guys have watched my previous car tour video, if not, I'll link it up here, of my whole why I got a car. It was like one of the best days of my life. It was my first real big girl purchase because before I had a 1999 Nissan Pathfinder. Her name was Stella. She was a homie. It was time for a more reliable car for the mountain because Stella was not an all-wheel drive car. And one of my jobs is a ski coach, so I drive up to the mountain like 60 times a year in all conditions, and I need to be able to drive a safe vehicle. I had bought my first Mercedes, a Mercedes GLA 250. It was a 2017. I bought that in 2019. It was a lease return. I loved the car. It had everything I wanted. I had no idea I was going to buy a Mercedes, but I had given my dad all the specs of what I was looking for in a car, and then the Mercedes that we found just happened to check everything and be under the price that I wanted to spend. So that's how I ended up with my first Mercedes, and obviously I fell in love with that car. I love how it drove. It was great in the snow, handled curves like a beauty. The only issue was that it was quite small. The GLA 250 is like barely a crossover. Like, it's so short that if I wore my hair in a bun, it would be like smacking the ceiling of the car. And you just kind of felt like you were in a tiny car. You didn't sit up as high, definitely didn't have as much storage. And the big thing is that it barely fit my skis. Like, my longest pair of skis was like 171 centimeters in the back, and it would not fit that. I would have to push the seat all the way forward to get those skis in. And so I really wanted a car to be able to drive with my other coach friends who are guys who have even longer skis than I do. And the time also came where my Mercedes was 4 years old and it had almost 75,000 miles. And basically the 75,000 mile mark is the mark that most dealerships won't want to accept your car as a trade-in once you go above that. So I was like right around 70,000 miles. And my dad and I started having this conversation. If I were to trade in my car, I would still get pretty good money for it, and I'd be able to use that money as a down payment for the car that I actually wanted. That would be a more realistic, like, long-term car. And I was like, if I was gonna buy the car anyway in a couple years, like, why would I waste this opportunity when my car is at a higher value to apply that now? Like, what's the difference? I might as well just be happy now. I said I am not in a rush to buy a second car. Like, I am in big money-saving mode. I really want to get a house, but if the opportunity presented itself where it was the right car and the right deal and it had exactly everything I wanted in my old car in the new car, then that's what I would get. I went through the whole car searching experience, which was quite fun in a period of our world where buying used cars is really competitive, and I learned a lot throughout the experience, including actually purchasing an entire vehicle and returning it 2 days later because it didn't have Apple CarPlay. So many lessons were learned. Like, I could go into the whole long story of that, but I will spare you guys and just share with you the lesson that is: know the laws in your state for returning cars, because in Oregon, if you drive a car off of the lot, it is yours, and never feel pressure to buy a car at a dealership. I think Doug and I felt like a little bit protected and maybe naive that we would never fall trapped to maybe the dealership craziness, but we too were kind of blindsided by the whole ordeal. I think it's just really important to know what you want and be patient. I will stand by this. I think it's really important to not buy a car in one day. I think it's important to be able to like sleep on it. And so when I actually purchased this car, I was adamant that I was going to drive all the way down to Salem and see the car and test drive it, but I would not buy it that day, even if it was exactly what I wanted, because I had learned my lesson from what we now call Sadie 1.5. And that is that you do not buy a car in one day, and you really want to like be able to feel good about the purchase. I had found that first Sadie 1.5 in May. I had started looking in January, and it took me all the way to October to find this random lucky car and the deal and the price that I wanted. And the car that I ended up buying was a newer year. It was less expensive than Sadie 1.5, and it had fewer miles. Such a good example to me of why it's important to be patient. And I just knew that this purchase needed to feel right, just like any big purchase in life. I'm really happy and proud of myself for waiting and not being like too anxious just to get the car. I actually got something that I'm happy with overall. That is my story. Now we're gonna cut to the day I got the car, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys everything I love about this car and all the amazing features. I was actually able to sell Sadie 1.0 and we found a wonderful home to one of my dad's friends and she is loving the car and I'm so happy that I get to drive my dream car every day. Let's go back to night shift Kiara in October 2023 when I got this car. Here we go. We've arrived at the dealership to get my new car. We're gonna go inside and do all the paperwork stuff. Oh, it says low battery. So this camera might die. You may get a phone vlog, but I'm gonna save the battery for the car. Here we go.
I can't find it.
Yeah.
As far as owner manuals, I don't know if we can get one of those, but
Doing the paperwork now. Getting the car. It doesn't feel real because we've been on this journey for so long, like 9 months. We literally birthed a baby out of this journey. 9 months of like searching.
8 hours of searching the internet.
And this is quite the story we have to tell you of all the drama we've been through. Oh my god. Now I just can't crash it getting out of the lot. That would be bad. Oh my god. Holy cow. I'm in my new car. It just never gets old. I'm running so late. I'm gonna get no sleep tonight for work, but we're gonna turn her on. Okay, I gotta go home. I'm gonna tell you guys the full story later, but for now, let's drive safely. One more thing, because I'm not really sure if I filmed this in this video. I had talked about a little bit of dealership drama. We had another really negative experience at a dealership. It was so disappointing. We were kind of like tossed around to different people. The dealership was gonna make us pay for the security system that is like, I don't know, $1,000, so that if your car ever gets stolen, you're able to track it down, which is something that, you know, I don't really need. I have a Mercedes app where I can track my car already, so I just really didn't need that feature. So they were very like having pushback on that, which was weird because I feel like that's something that all dealerships offer, but they shouldn't be surprised when customers are like, no, I don't want to pay for that. And then the other thing that was extremely weird to us, and that was not told to us on the first day that we looked at the car, was the fact that the car had the 3M coating on just the door sides and the part where like your hand goes, where rings are, nowhere else, like not on the hood, nowhere else. And they were trying to charge us $600 for a tiny strip of plastic on the doors. It was like really ridiculous because I have paid for how much that costs to have your car done and it does not cost $600. So I thought that was utterly preposterous and I was like, well, I don't want it on the car and you didn't tell me about it before, so don't just up the price on the day that I'm here to buy the car. And they had so much pushback about it and were really difficult to work with. And so my dad was like, you have to be ready to walk. And I was ready to walk. I was so frustrated in the moment. And so we were like, we absolutely will not buy the car if you don't take it completely off the bill. And they went to their manager, they reduced it, they were going to charge us a couple $100s for it, and we were like, no, we will still walk. We did not come here to have these icky feelings. Like, it should be a positive car buying experience. We're here taking this car that's not even the same brand as your dealership off of the lot for you. We're doing you a favor. And so finally they did come back and they were like, we took the whole price off, you don't have to pay for it, but it is just proof that you have to always be willing to walk. Just needed to include that for all of you guys because I care about you, and you should not have to pay for things that were not originally discussed in the initial presentation of the car. That's just not how we do business here. Okay, now we're ready to actually see the car.
I just wanna be ready for the summer. I just wanna be ready for the summer. I just wanna be ready for the summer. Summer, 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 summer.
You have waited so long to see my dream car that I finally purchased, my Mercedes GLC 300. I'm obsessed with it. I've been driving it for about 10 months now, and I'm finally getting around to film a car tour. So I'm gonna show you around everything I love about this car on the outside, and then we'll go inside and I'll show you where everything is and what I love about it so much. Let's go. Starting off with the front, one of my favorite things about Mercedes is that it has such a strong grille. I had the Mercedes GLC 250 before, which also had like a similar looking front, but it was just a smaller car overall. And I was really looking for something that was bigger to hold all of my ski stuff and all of my friends because I'm typically the driver. Super easy easy to lock and unlock this car. So if I want to lock it, I just put my hands on the outside of the vehicle. The mirrors fold in, which is so nice, especially because I live in the city and it just keeps everything as compact as possible. And then if I want to unlock, I just put my hand inside like I'm going to open the car handle door, and it unlocks all the doors for the sides without having to get my key out or anything, which is super nice. One thing that I also had done to this car, because I hope to keep it for a really long time, is I had a protective 3M coating put on. I went to PDX Wraps and they did an incredible job. I got the wrap put on here on the inside of the door handle if people are wearing rings. I also got the wrap put on the sides of the doors, so every single door has a thin strip of this protective coating. So if one of my friends whaps open my door, which has happened, and it just protects the paint coat. I also have it on the mirrors and on the entire front hood and grille of the car, just to keep it nice and safe, because I do drive up to the mountain quite frequently and there's a lot of flying rock coming at me. Let's go over to the driver's side and I'll show you guys all my favorite features. When I was looking at this car, I was really looking for a light interior, white color, a panoramic sunroof, good speaker system, and Apple CarPlay, as well as other technology safety features. And one thing about the 2020 compared to the 2019 is that it has a lot more special features. I can't really see it in my car, but maybe I'll film a clip at night. My car actually has puddle lights on the ground. I don't think you can see them because it's so bright, but there is a shadow of the Mercedes emblem on the ground. I've got this 3M coating put down here, so if anyone's kicking their feet out and scuffing, it protects the paint right there. This car also has a ton of storage. I have a lot of large water bottles, especially being a nurse. I feel like I'm constantly drinking water, and this cup holder right here can hold my 40-ounce Odwalla or Hydro Flask, so I love that there's tons of cup holder options. And then I always keep my Oakley sunglasses for when it's really bright driving to the mountain and I'm getting ready for ski season, so I always have my ice scraper in my car ready to go. The only thing that this car didn't have that my old car did have was an upgraded stereo, and it was very hard because we bought this car used. We couldn't find the upgraded stereo on any of the cars that I wanted, as well as the sunroof. And so we found out that there were some problems with shipping and the chip manufacturing companies that created those products that we needed, so it was very rare to find a car with the upgraded speaker system. However, when my phone's plugged in, I think the bass audio sounds fantastic, and I've never had an issue with it. It sounds identical to my previous Mercedes that had the upgraded audio, so I can still crank the stereo and it sounds great to me. Obviously, the classic Mercedes seat adjustment, which is so nice. You can just press on the seat if you want it to come up or if you want it to go forward or up. You basically push on the seat exactly how you want it yourself, and then you can have seat settings too if multiple people are driving the car and you want to change the seats for them. Heated seats, of course, that's a must, especially in Oregon on like a cold rainy day. You just need to have heated seats. And then over here you have all of your mirror settings and windows as well. Let's turn the car on and then I can really show you the features. We're gonna turn her on and I'll show you exactly what it looks like on the inside. I love the Mercedes steering wheel. It's so comfortable to hold on to. And we have digital screens that I can also toggle through, so I can select what I want to see on the screen. I typically like to, this is like the eco-friendly mode, but I typically like to look at my range, how long I can go, my gas mileage. These sensors are all just touch sensitive, and I can go back. You can also set a navigation system up if you want. Right here, I love that I can just put my finger on the volume and turn my music up or down. I can control Siri. There's also a Hey Mercedes feature, which works really similarly to Siri. And I can hang up on people. I can call them and accept the call. I can go home. So everything on this side basically will help control my touchscreen media panel. And then everything on this side will control what I'm seeing right here. It has auto windshield wipers, so it'll sense when it's raining, which is a really great feature in Oregon. I can of course turn them off if I need to. Down here I have all of my lights. I just have them on auto. Parking brake is down here. The other thing that I love about this car is that it's so quiet when you're sitting inside. All of my friends tell me how smooth and quiet it is. The features in this car are really easy to toggle with. Everything kind of looks like an airplane mode. You can twist these to turn off your air vents, and you can rotate them around in a circle depending on how you want your air. This whole look is super clean. Right here you can turn the temperature down or up, and you can see everything on the screen in front of you, so it's really easy to toggle with, especially while driving. It's easy to mess with the fan going up or down. There's also a trackpad down here, and this will control my screen as well as my Apple CarPlay. I actually don't use this very much because now I'm so used to having a screen that's a touch screen. My old Mercedes did not have this. This has Apple CarPlay. I use Apple CarPlay all the time. I could not live without it, and it's so extremely helpful. If I'm driving really far, I'm always able to just, you know, reply to a text through Siri without even touching my phone, which I think is a really great safety feature. We have the ability to see all of your camera views, so you can toggle through the screen all the different cameras. This is something that's special about the 2020. So you're able to see behind you. This gives you a nice bird's eye view, which I think is so helpful, especially when parallel parking. You can see the front of your car at all different angles, and then you can see the entire car. This car will also beep at you if you get too close to another car, so you can be alerted. You can also turn the sound off if it's really annoying to you. Like when I went through the car wash this morning, I'm able to just press this little P parking off and it won't beep at me, but it'll still show me on the screen lines, red, yellow, green, distance away from whatever object I'm nearest to. And then my car also has the ability to drive in manual. That's not something that I personally do, but there are paddle shifters behind the wheels, and you can switch back and forth from manual by pressing this M button here in the center. And then you can also turn on and off your auto shut off, which is a nice feature to have if that's something that bothers you. Right here, we've got cup holders galore. I usually will put my phone in here or my Stanley because it's just nice to always have water on the go, but it's also great to tuck it away if that's something that you want to hide as well. Let's see what else we have here. We've got the beauty mirror, storage for sunglasses, as well as all your different light controls. I think these lights are really great at night. They do a great job, and then I will show you what it looks like with the sunroof. This is one feature that I wanted so badly because I think it makes the car feel so much more open and bright inside. My passengers love it. I love it on a sunny day. I can open this entire sunroof up and have the wind in my hair, which is super nice, or I can just have some good sunlight. And if it's ever too bright, I just close this thing up and it's still pretty light inside. That's something that I love about the light interior, especially the Mercedes seats. They are so comfortable. Let's get out and I'll show you guys the rest of the car. Let's show you guys the back seat of the car. This is something that was very, very small in my Mercedes 250. It was really hard to fit my friends in the back seat, but something I love about this back seat is it's so comfortable and spacious. This middle seat actually has a whole drop down so you can rest your arms here, and then there's two cup holders so you can have friends in the back put their drinks there. You also have the ability to have them control the airflow in the back, which is something that's really nice. This compartment right here gives you a cigarette lighter plug-in, and then you also have an actual plug if you wanted to charge your phone or your laptop, which is a pretty cool 115 volt plug right there. I'll sit in the seat so you guys can kind of see what it looks like in the back. As you can see, pretty spacious. I've had multiple friends in the back here. If I'm ever taking 4 people to the mountain, we'll actually just put this middle seat down and put the skis across here, and then all 4 people have like their own seat to sit in, which I think is really nice. You have storage for magazines or things like that here. The back seat also has really wonderful cup holders, so your guests have plenty of places to put their things as well without feeling too claustrophobic in here. As you can see, I also have really wonderful weather mats. These are by the brand 3W, and they're such amazing quality. I honestly don't think I could survive in Oregon with all of the different weather and all the different outdoor activities without having all weather mats. I keep them in all year long because it's just really easy to be able to take these out and clean them. I'll link these down below if you guys are in need of weather mats. They have a ton of options that are all custom for different types of cars. And then I'll show you the best part, the storage in the back. Back hatchback, this is a must, especially as a skier. I fit like 4 to 5 pairs of skis in here, which is insane, as well as all the packs and everything that I need for a busy weekend. One of the awesome features when I'm carrying a bunch of things in my hand is that I can just kick under the car and my whole hatchback will open hands-free. This is very helpful. It'll also close that way. There's tons of space back here. It's incredible how much I can fit. I've had like multiple big white plastic bins, and I also love that I can put the seats down in the back. So just by pressing that one button, the whole seat will plop down. I can also just put down the middle seat like I was saying before with the skis, or I can have both of them down, and it really opens things up. During ski season, I typically have a rollout mat that goes across this entire seat, and then that's how I can line up all my skis and poles while still protecting the car and making sure I don't get any scratches. And then of course I have this 3W mat that lines the entire trunk of my car. It's really grippy, so things don't really slide around, which I love. If I ever needed a secret space to lock my things up, there is a whole underground compartment, and this has, I don't know if you can even see, but there's more space under there to hide things. I have mesh on the side so I can hold extra things like my reusable bags or my extra emergency snacks, because you never know when you need them. I also have a miniature shovel in here that I've used to unbury my car from deep snow. So those are some things I have in here. I also have my emergency car kit, because you never know what could happen. And this has flares, duct tape, all the random things. It has a first aid kit. I have another first aid kit somewhere else in my car. And then this is my giant bucket full of everything that I like to use for my busy lifestyle. I have my picnic blanket in here. I have extra hair ties, brush. I've got water storage, more snow scrapers, and I even have a tow strap if I needed to have my car towed out of a ditch or to help someone else get out. Got a lot of things in this car just in case of emergency. We also have another cigarette lighter here that you can plug stuff in if you needed to inflate anything. And now I'm realizing that I forgot to show you two other storage areas in my car where I like to keep my stuff. So I'll show you on the passenger side. My other favorite feature is that I close this with one button, and it's so easy. I can also lock the entire car by pressing the button right next door. So here's where I keep all of my other goodies. Of course, we have the same cup holders on the passenger side, and then we have a glove compartment, more emergency bags, my car registration, more snow scrapers. You can just never have enough, you know. If you're driving multiple people, they can help scrape the car as well. And then I have extra quarters for parking, Band-Aids, and more car cleansing wipes if I ever need to wipe down my car, because I do like to keep it nice and clean. The middle compartment, it opens up. I'll just actually show you what I have in there. I like to keep a nice clear bag full of everything I need. I've got like tons of chapsticks in here, mints, I have anti-itch stuff because I get mosquito bites all the time, floss, a miniature pig, more sunglasses, hair ties, Tide to Go, all the stuff. But I like to keep it in this container because it keeps it all together. I have my cord. This is how I plug in for Apple CarPlay, and then I have a space as well for someone else if they wanted to charge their phone, and then I just keep extra masks in here if I ever need one of those. Closes nicely, and I love how my Apple CarPlay cord can come out through the middle. It still closes really nicely around it without bending the cord. So that is my car tour. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing inside my literal dream car. I love driving this thing. I feel so safe, and it also is a really powerful car. I always feel like if I need to step on it and skirt into somewhere, I'm able to do so. I feel like I have no complaints about this car. This car is just so me. If you guys have questions about other features in the car or things that I forgot to talk about, you can comment them down below. Thank you for being patient with this video. I know it's taken me forever. Trying to think of other specs that I didn't share that people would be curious about. This car gets about 29 miles a gallon on the highway and about 24 in the city, and it's got 255 horsepower. It feels fast. It's a turbo 4 for the engine. I paid $33,000 for this car used. We actually got it at a different dealership. It was someone else's trade-in, and when I bought it, it had 20,000 miles, which is an incredible deal compared to other cars that were on the market. Obviously, used cars are super expensive right now, but I was able to sell my other Mercedes and still get good money because it was in great condition, and someone else now gets to use it and love it, and I get the car that is a much better fit for me and my ski lifestyle. Having a bigger car that also is going to last me longer with fewer miles was definitely a smart decision to go without losing too much money on my other vehicles. I feel really happy with my decision, and it's such a gift to be able to wake up and go to work every day in a car that I feel safe in. Today's question of the day is going to be, what is your dream car? Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.
I'ma have to live a little louder. No, I ain't gonna end up like the man trying to figure out the man who got it figured out. I just bought me a new condo, and in the same year I moved back home. Guess the 20s ain't as friendly as the place where you were born.